I made a phone. Now, let's go to Premiere Pro to see what sounds it can make. My name is Chris, and I'm a filmmaker, and I'm here to help you tell stories. This tip is all about generating simple sound effects right inside of Adobe Premiere Pro without using any plugins. Quick note, my editor of choice is Premiere Pro, but even if you use something else, you can still do simple sound effects in many different ways. More about that towards the end. If you watch through this, you can at least learn the principles, even if the exact steps for your editor of choice aren't quite the same. A staple of television production, bars and tone don't have as much use online. However, the way it's implemented in Premiere Pro is flexible enough to meet our needs to make many basic sounds. For my recent short film, I needed a little sound effect to go underneath the text as it typed on the screen in the opening shot. I didn't have a sound effect that would work, so I made it from scratch right inside of Premiere Pro. So first, add bars and tone to your project. Now, there's bars and tone and HD bars and tone. Either one will work because all we're interested in is the audio portion. In here, you want to make sure that these match your timeline, and by default they should. Click OK. Now you have bars and tone. By default, you're just going to get that normal sound. So if I double click on it, I can then change the tone frequency and amplitude. For my project, I decided to go with 4000, and to make it a little bit quieter, I changed it to -24 dB. And then you can just add the audio to your timeline. In this case, I didn't get the video because I didn't have an actively selected track. So then I just had some keyframes. In this case, I just simply alternated. There's no need to keep it in sync with the text. So then we can just pull this down and copy these two keyframes and paste. So all I did was add a hold keyframe for each of these and then alternate it between 0 dB and -infinity. Just alternate 0, -infinity, 0, -infinity, and that gives us a nice little tone there. And that's where the power of this comes in, because with the raw tone, I can just modify this sound to make it exactly what I need. Make it more complex than just a simple tone, but in the end, that's all it is. And then of course you'll want to rename it to make it more descriptive of what you're actually using in your project. You can use this method anytime you need simple tones, whatever the reason. For example, out certain in your video. Now, if you don't use Premiere, you can do this with any editor, as long as it has a way to generate a tone at a specific frequency. And even if your editor can't do that, you can use the tone generator in the free software Audacity, and then import the sound files into your timeline, regardless of what editor you use. Now, about this phone. If you want to have more fun, you could get a little sophisticated and make your own sound effects by combining certain tones. For example, I have all these different frequencies, and I can lay them out and layer them to make some really interesting effects. Using the tone inside Premiere Pro like this may not be any easier than purchasing a simple sound effect online, but for some things, it might actually be quicker than entering your payment information, and it's definitely less expensive. Thanks for watching, and for more Premiere Pro tips, check out this playlist right here. And for more advanced options, try playing with the generate tones in Adobe Audition.